All right, time to explain some more Americanisms. Let's move on. Get right into it. Do drinking fountains exist? I'm not sure where this came from, because I know that drinking fountains exist in other countries. So, yeah. I really have no idea where this is coming from. Like I said, I found this in an article, and they're like, do these really exist in high schools? Yes, they do. They actually exist. Um, we even have ones that are more high-tech than this, if you will, where they have water bottle filling stations. So if you have a water bottle, you can go and get that filled up. It's important to keep hydrated. So, I mean, we have gym class. You wouldn't like necessarily go and do a full workout and then not go get a drink. So, I mean, this isn't the only source of drinking. This isn't the only beverage that would be existing at a high school. There are vending machines and sodas and stuff that you can get at a vending machine. But again, those exist in other countries as well. So once again, I'm not sure how this is an Americanism that needs to be explained. I just don't understand. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, high school drama clubs. Do they actually exist? Yeah. So, the thing with the drama club is it might be a club, but it might also just be a class, part of the school. You can actually take acting as part of your high school experience. Some high schools get way more into this than others. I know that in my high school, we didn't necessarily have a drama club. We had a drama class where you go and learn acting and acting techniques and all that other stuff. But then the drama teacher would stage musicals and plays throughout the year, and there were just open auditions. So if you wanted to be in the play, you didn't actually have to be in the drama class. You could just go and try out for a part. And if you were what they were looking for, you got on the play, or you were made a cast member and learned your lines, did your play, did your musical, whatever it happened to be that they were doing at the time. I know that in one of the high schools that's here in the area, because of my niece, she was in like the drama club. So the drama club did their own thing apart from the school's drama class. So if you wanted to be in the drama club, the drama club just put on, they practiced and they put on like several short scenes from several different plays. Whatever the members of the club, when they got together, they're like, well, I want to do this scene and I want to do this scene, and so they just did that one night, and that was separate from the like musical and the plays and stuff that were officially part of like the drama class. So once again, these clubs do exist. They are part of the high school club scenes. The high school clubs get way more in depth than just the high school drama club. You can basically have a club on anything if you can, get it. Obviously, you have to get it approved. You have to get people to come. I'm pretty sure you have to have like a faculty advisor. So, there may be a limit on how many clubs can potentially be at the school, just because you have to have a faculty advisor. And if that faculty advisor is already busy with another club, it's not like they're going to be like, yeah, sure, let's pile on another club on top of all the stuff that I'm already doing. But it could be that they may be a faculty advisor to multiple clubs. So yeah, totally, part of the high school club experience. They'll put on productions during the year. But once again, it may or may not exist in every high school because that role may be filled by, say, the drama class. And once again, depending on the rules that they have for participation in things, it could be that if you want to be part of the play, you can just try out. You don't have to go to the class, but it could also be that if you want to be part of the play, you have to be in the class as well. So there's a lot of things that are going on there. Parking lots at U.S. schools. Okay, so the United States is a car culture. We basically learn to drive when we're 16 years old. Some states it's actually younger than that. You can get your driver's license. In Idaho, for instance, you can actually get your driver's license when you're 14. Now, usually you can't just decide, hey, I'm going to go get my driver's license now that I'm 14. You have to have extenuating circumstances, like you work on a farm or something and you need to be able to have your license so you can drive the farm machinery. And so in that case, you might get, it's not an exemption. There might be special circumstances for you to get your license. And so you can get it when you are younger. That being said, I have family that lives in Idaho, and they got their license when they were 16 because they didn't have that need. They weren't part of a farming community. They weren't working on a farm. My brother-in-law is an accountant, so, that being said, when I went to school, one of the classes I enrolled at in my high school was driver's education. So one of the classes that I went to every day was to teach me to drive. In the class, we took the written. There's a written test. It's not so much written anymore as you do it on the computer now. But you study the rules of the road, the regulations for your state. Then you go and you take a test. And we took that test in the class. If you weren't part of the class, you could actually study for that on your own, and then go down to the Department of Motor Vehicles, take the test down there, and they would give you a learner's permit. Now, a learner's permit, that is basically a temporary license. It's only good for a short amount of time, and it's only good if you have another driver in the car with you, a licensed driver, and it has to be a parent or guardian. So legally, they are responsible for you. And they've actually gotten so that the rules are a lot more strict than they used to be. The thing is if I remember right, when I was when I had my learner's permit, I could drive with my parents, obviously, and I could also drive with the instructors that were there at the high school, because that's what they were supposed to be teaching me, was how to drive. But I could also drive with my grandparents, and I could drive with other people in the car that were not my family members. But my kids, for instance, they went to driver's ed and stuff, and the rules have since changed. I remember my daughter, when she went and got her license, the lady at the DMV, I shouldn't say license, it's when she got her learner's permit, the lady at the DMV that was handling that, she said, okay, now you understand that you cannot drive with your grandparents. Doesn't matter what grandma and grandpa say, you can only drive with your parents. Those are the only two people that can drive with you. And they could drive with my other kids in the car, but they couldn't have anyone else. Extended family, nothing. No friends, no extended family. They could not be in the car. If one of my kids was practicing driving, we couldn't have cousins, we couldn't have friends. it was limited to our family and no one else could be in the car. Whereas I think the rules were a little bit more lax when I was younger, taking driver's ed. But because of the fact that we are such a car culture, and because of the fact we can get our licenses to drive at 16, a lot of the high schools in our country have parking lots because the students drive themselves to school. Usually the high schools cover a wider geographic area. So we have like primary school, or as we call them, elementary school, and then we have junior high or middle school. That's the next step up. And then we have high school. That's the final school before you get to college, before you go to university or whatever. And so the elementary schools, they're usually very small as far as their boundaries go. And so a lot of times the kids that go to that elementary school are within walking distance of that school. And so they will walk to school, or their parents will obviously drive them. And so the parking lot is just for the teachers. And then you go up to the middle school or the junior high, depending on what the classification is. Those, again, because those are for kids that don't have driver's license, again, the parking lot is just for the teachers. But then you get to high school, and once again, as part of the curriculum for the high school, you can take driver's ed, depending on how it's structured. My kids, because of the way it's structured in this area, they took it like after school kind of thing. It wasn't actually a class that they taught as part of the school, whereas I went to my class during the day, during my school day. It was one of the classes that I had. But because we can get our license, a lot of times you turn 16, your parents get you a car, or you turn 16 and at that point you can get a job. You can start paying for your own car. And because we have so many cars, and because you can get your driver's license at such a young age, you need a place to park it. So the high schools will have student parking. It makes it quite convenient, really. You don't have to drop your kids off at school. And as I said, the boundaries for the school increase as you get to the older ages. So the elementary or primary schools, those are pretty small as far as the boundaries go, so that the kids are within walking distance. With the next step up, it covers a greater area. And so at that point, the school may start busing the students to the school. And that's same with the high school. But at the same time with the high school, they don't need as many buses because they have quite a large population of the student body that can get themselves to school. They can already drive. So, yeah, parking lots are things at U.S. schools. Let's see. School nurse. Now, when I was in school, we had a nurse's office, but we didn't actually have a nurse. I see this more in Japanese cartoons. So, I did some research about this in my area, and there is a school nurse position, but not a lot of people fill that position. You just don't have I'm sure there's the capacity, the need for it, but a lot of times what they'll do instead, like the school that my kids go to, none of them have a school nurse. And in looking around at the other schools in the area, I did find out that there are relatively few in the state that I live in. It looks like what they do is, instead of having one school nurse per school, which I think would kind of be the optimum, obviously, because any medical emergencies that happen at the school, you have someone on site who can handle that. But what they do instead is they kind of have a roving nurse that may cover several schools. And so depending on the day, she may be at this school. The next day she'll be at this school. Or he. I don't want to say that it's limited to men or women. Because obviously whoever wants to be a nurse can be a nurse. That being said, they're not common. I think a lot of times what we have is that position has existed in the past. That position has existed in the past and is part of some school budgets, and so some schools do have them. But it's much more common now that if, like, my kid's not feeling well at school, they can just pull out their cell phone and give me a call and I can go get them. I don't have to have somebody at the school that can do things for my kid as far as that goes. That being said, like, a lot of schools do still have like a school nurse's office set aside. So if somebody they're not feeling well, they need to lie down until their parents get there, they say, go wait in the nurse's office kind of thing. So they have somewhere to put students who aren't feeling well until, like I said, a parent or guardian can come get them from school. That's it for today. I still have tons of high school Americanisms to go through. There are a lot of them, and I hope you're enjoying these Americanisms explained. Please like and subscribe, as well as comment down below. Hey, and ask me questions. If there's something if there's an Americanism that you're curious about, hey, leave me a comment. And like I said, like and subscribe, and until next time.